You got questions, we've got answers. Just ask Kenan.
Hey, what's going on everyone? Kenan here, and I'm hanging out today with a little Greek tortoise that I have, and it's time for another Ask Kamp Kenan question. Today's question comes from Margot Maloney, one of our Patreon supporters. Really appreciate the Patreon supporters' support. It helps us continue to make the videos and to continue to bring you some fun reptile adventures and education. And today's question from Margot, it happens to do with how do we know if a tortoise's beak is too long or its nails are too long, and what can you do to identify it, and also what can you do to actually trim it down. Now, first things first, folks, you want to just kind of look at the tortoise and check its nails. You can see the nails there look pretty good. They look healthy. They're not too long. The back nails look good as well. You don't want them to start curling underneath. You don't want them to impede the tortoise from being able to put its foot completely on the ground. Remember, these tortoises have elephantine hind legs, and you want their feet to sit like columns. So you really want their whole foot pad to be on the ground. If the toenails get too long, it won't be able to put its entire foot down. And as far as the front, these look pretty healthy. They get worn down naturally over time. You want to make sure you have enough substrate that they can dig in. These tortoises live with my rhino iguanas. I'll flip it around after the video and I'll show you how they're living. But one thing I want you to notice is look at the beak on this guy. It's starting to get a little bit too long. Now, you can take your animal to a vet and they can trim the beak for you. It's not a difficult process. I'm actually going to try and do it here. It's a little bit more difficult when you're filming by yourself, but I do have a tool that I use, a little dremel tool, and I learned this from my friend Greg Fleming, who passed away sadly a few years back. He was one of Disney World's vets, Animal Kingdom vet, and a reptile and tortoise nerd. Learned so much from him, and he taught me how to trim the beaks of the tortoises on my own. This tortoise is pretty gregarious. It's a male, and this Greek tortoise is very easy because he's sticking his head out. Now, it's going to be more difficult, and you may need a vet or another person to help you when getting them to have them stick their heads out, because as you can imagine, when I start up the little Dremel tool right here, he's probably going to shy away. So I'm going to try and do this video as best I can, guys. It's just me out here. Tom's not around. Kate's not around. It's all me, so I'm going to try and do the best I can to Dremel this guy safely and to keep the video informative and educated. Educated? I need an education on how to speak. I'll keep the information flowing and try and educate everyone on how to do this. But I will say this as a disclaimer, guys. If you don't feel comfortable trimming your tortoise's nails, bring them to a vet. I am not a vet. I learned this from a vet, and I have many, many years of working with these animals. So always go see a vet if you are uncomfortable with the procedure. I wouldn't just start experimenting on your animals. This is something I've done many times. I'm going to just show you how I do it. Now, in order to do this, we're going to move you guys. We're going to come down a little bit lower, and I want to be able to kind of keep my hands in view. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to just tilt the tortoise forward. They tend to stick out their heads, and this is going to look mean, but this is a necessary thing. I keep their head. You see, I'm keeping his head from going into the shell by gently holding it. Now I'm starting up the Dremel. So I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. All right, can you guys hear me? Good. So I've turned it down a little bit, and we're just going to do short bursts. I got to pay attention, guys. Here we go. Short little bursts. Just short bursts, because what happens is you can heat the beak up from friction, and you don't want to heat this guy's beak up too much because it would be uncomfortable and hurt. So I just do short little bursts, and we trim it down. Get right underneath. I may have to turn it up a little bit. Here we go. But you see how I'm doing these short bursts? There you go. Nice and short. And we're just taking off the edge. All right, you see that? We're just taking the edge off. And again, guys, the problem with leaving the beak too long is that the tortoise won't be able to open his mouth properly in order to eat. So that's why we're doing this. We're trimming it down just a little bit. don't know if you guys can see. I'm hoping you guys can see well. Oh, and this tortoise is not having a problem at all. Hasn't gone into his shell. See how we brought that down? Looking pretty good. All right, I think I like that. I think I like the way that looks, guys. What do you say? We brought down the beak a little bit, and so now it's a more useful beak. He can open up more. Now, guys, also, when you're doing this, again, I mentioned it. I don't know if it was too loud on the video, but what happens is, you see that? Looks much more normal. It's not sticking out as far. He can open his mouth. I could probably stand to trim it down a little bit more just to make sure that it's within the parameters of a normal beak. You don't want the beak to come out below the bottom jaw. Okay, that's how you know it's gotten too long. You can see that he opens his mouth. The beak is still a little bit long. And I might trim a little bit more here once I have both hands free, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how you would trim a tortoise's beak. Again, do not recommend you do this if you are not supervised by a vet. I was supervised by my friend Greg Fleming, who was a vet, and he was a great vet, and he taught me how to do this. This is not something that I would just start, excuse me, dremeling away at your tortoise. So you gotta know what you're doing. But I wanted to show you, if you did bring it to a vet, this is what they would do. They dremel the beak down. As you can see, the tortoise is moving around. No worries, no pain. If you went too far up, then you would hit nerves, you would hit blood. Same thing with their nails. You never want to trim them too close. Just take the little tips off. Never go too close. If you do accidentally snip too close, they'll bleed a little bit. You can put a little bit of antibiotic ointment on there, but it shouldn't be any kind of catastrophe. But there he is, a little Greek tortoise. And let's put him back, excuse me. Or rather, I'm gonna show you his little house. He's gonna go up there for a moment, and then, oh, don't walk off on the roof. He's on the roof. I don't want him to take off too quickly before I can get to him. Here's their house. They live in here. There's another Greek tortoise. They kind of live in here with the rhino iguanas. They got sun over there. They eat off the tray. They also have a rock in there, flat rock, that they grind their mouths on. But every once in a while, these guys are gonna get long beaks. And that's how you take care of them, all right? So we've done it. Oh, we got this little guy all situated. I hope this was an informative video. Thanks so much for watching and being a Patreon supporter. Keep those questions coming, everybody. We wanna know. We wanna know what you're up to. Don't forget to also hit subscribe on the channel, and whoa, gotchas. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Kamp Kenan Army, where we can see just what you guys are up to and how you keep your animals. Upload your own videos of your habitats and your animals, and we can all educate each other. So there you have it, little dental work for your tortoise, and we're trimming their rampathecas. Rampatheca is a fancy word for it. All right, now you've learned something. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna continue to gently take off a little bit more so this little gentleman can open his mouth without any hindrance. All right, everyone, thanks so much. Hit like, subscribe, and I will see you again on another Ask Kamp Kenan episode. See you, dude. Bye.